Live now. We are live now. Hey, folks, what's up? Check it out. It's another season of, actually, another show, another weekly show with Christopher Leon Johnson right here, where we talk about different topics in the local New York City political scene.
hmm
So, actually, this week is actually the end, probably the last weekend of petitioning for these candidates. And I know there's a lot of activity. They're actually quite busy doing their thing. Um, but yeah, there's some other topics come up. As always, I know you're super busy out there covering a lot of
hmm
different topics, issues, and events. What's happened for you this week?
Well, basically, it was a lot of like covering events. There's a lot of swerving. These recently had a lot of swerve events. I was tending to cover a Adrian Espaillat Alvin Bragg event up in Manhattan after a tenant rights rally. But what happened was, I saw a camera around City Hall, and I stumbled onto that. And not let's not. I'm not going to try to really break down because it's kind of about it's deal with entertainment, and the topic is so controversial. I don't want to get our account our show to be deleted. So I covered that. It's something to do with the hip hop industry. I'm not going to say what it was about. Like I said, it's too controversial, it's too sensitive to talk
Trafficking?
about. Something like that. Sex trafficking and pedophilia, alleged pedophilia by the Zulu Nation, and it's just too controversial to touch on. I covered it.
Actually, I was during that era. An interesting thing is that back in the day, I'm not afraid to talk about it. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter,
yeah, yeah,
there was a
yeah.
lot of stuff going on at this place called. I actually won a DJ battle at a place called Skate Key, and there was a lot of Zulu Nation hanging out at those events. There was these events held by Speedy Legs, I think, and there was like these b-boy battles. There was other ones going on, but I really felt like his were the most poppin' and the ones where
Mhm.
Zulu Nation would come out strong. So the thing is,
Yeah,
back in those days, like Bambata, right, is really the one who's really accused of and he's considered to be one of the three founding fathers of hip hop, but he kind of got his, you don't see him as much nowadays, but
yeah.
he kind of disappeared, so that didn't really look good. But um, were there other people implicated besides Bamba? I know other people had said like they just didn't say anything, but you said
Yeah,
other
they
stuff's happening. Are they saying that there's other people involved now too who was engaged in
Yeah, I
that
think
type of behavior?
KRS One tried to defend Bambaataa, and I think he allegedly said like if you don't mess with Bambaataa, or something like, well, you should leave hip hop, and he got a lot of heat for that. Uh, so I think everybody know Bambaataa helped KRS One with his career, so of course KRS One's gonna ride for his man, so he's gonna stay loyal to him.
Okay.
And it's a lot of things that's going on with that. It was basically a rally. It was like a presser with Lila Wells. Lila Wells, she does a documentary about this stuff, and she was out there rallying against it. Of
Have you
course,
ever
she's
heard
gonna
of
get back.
Have you ever heard of someone named Hassan Campbell or something like that?
Yeah, I watch his videos a lot. I told her that say,
Okay.
hey, I watch this. I don't really try to put it on my platform because it's too controversial, and it creates a lot of problems, especially when you know what the hell's going on. So I told her, I said, hey, I know about the story. It's just too controversial to cover because you make yourself a target.
Yeah.
Um, so just like I told her that, like privately, I said, it's too controversial to cover. A lot of people won't cover it. The people only out there was New York, Pix 11 and News 12.
Well,
Those only people that covered.
even though this, like, I think that it probably, because the way that Bombada disappeared, right? If it wasn't true, I think he would come out and really fight against the charges. Maybe the press not allowing that, I don't know. But
Hmm.
the thing is that, even though a lot of these organizations, like even, any organization, even the Catholic Church, right? There's certain people
Hmm.
that get into leadership positions and they abuse their power and their access.
Yep.
But I think that there's also people that are part of Zulu Nation that meant well, that did
Hmm.
not have any desire to have pedophilia or something like that, and they're
Hmm.
unfairly, associated with that type of behavior or condoning
Hmm.
that behavior when they really didn't. And there's also
Yeah.
people on the other side of it that are trying to protect their access, who are not being honest about, these allegations. And
Hmm.
that's not really cool either. So that's just,
Yeah. It's fucking disgusting. It just what it is. I stumbled onto that and I covered it, and it's getting some views. I know YouTube is going to block the views. I know why, but it's kind of a different thing. I mean, I covered that, and then I was basically doing my little advocacy.
So wait, are
Like,
there new allegations or something? Because as far
I
as I know, this
don't
is an old
know.
issue.
I really don't. I don't even know what's going on. I just covered the event, and that's it.
This
And I
went
moved
off
on.
forget about like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This
So
was.
something new happened, or is this just ongoing, or what's going on?
Yeah, I don't even know, but I know there's a museum that be made with the help of the city of New York called the Museum of Hip Hop, Universal's Museum
Yeah, I
of Hip
know. I
Hop.
was actually there. Yeah, I know about that.
So they want, I think they want the CEO, the executive director, to resign because he tied to the Zulu Nation. So I mean, it's gonna be
Well, that's a little, I mean,
yeah, it's really tough to get out of that. It's really tough to do. I
that
mean,
doesn't mean
it's
he
like
personally knew or was involved. I mean, like
I
maybe
don't
if there's
know.
proof, I don't know. We'll see, find out. But I don't know
Yeah,
anything about that. So
I
who
mean,
did
I
you, which politicians were there again?
nobody, not one. And I
Right.
know
Okay.
why.
They don't want
One
to
is
step on
Alex.
that. That's crazy. Yeah. So who showed up
It's
again?
like no, Leela Wells.
Who's Leela
Yes,
Wells?
sir. She's the journalist. She's a journalist,
Oh,
activist. So she was
invite
one
her on
that
the show
covered that.
sometime. I would like to. I'm actually interested in
Yeah,
learn more about her work.
yeah, which is perfect. And then she's like that. And then it was like a few people, but Hassan didn't come, so he did come to that. So
I mean, it's mad old, right? So not that
yeah,
it's
I don't
not
know.
irrelevant, not that it's completely irrelevant or anything, but did something new happen? I'm thinking maybe
I
something new
don't know.
happened to spark this
I
new
don't even
round.
know what the hell's going on. I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, yeah.
They got an uphill battle. They got an uphill battle because hip hop is well known in the city of New York, and this mayor, he's the hip hop mayor. So I mean, it's real tough to get
There's
around.
a lot
So
of stuff happening in like the whole entire. It's not just hip hop. It's also the pop music industry. Maybe even K-pop has some, trafficking going on.
hmm
Anywhere you have people, and to tell you the truth, I really think that trafficking is going on. There's actually a new person who I got in contact with. She's actually has a lawsuit against Hunter College. We've been talking behind the scenes, and I can show you on my screen. If you look at where Jeffrey Epstein's address is in New York City, and you look at
hmm
where Hunter College is, it's like 2 blocks. It's not even 2 blocks away.
hmm
Yeah, what? And when you look at these women that are trying to get like into the entertainment industry, or
hmm
young men, right? Anything, right? Any sexually desirable person, right? Trying to get into an industry, even academics, and you have a set of people in the aristocracy that's giving out, right? Yeah. Now the thing is that in the acting career, you could go with maybe like the director or something, but if you go with a professor who gave you an unhonest, degree, then you basically screw yourself. So these women
hmm
or these, sexually desired people in the college, atmosphere are hugely, not that that's what this lady is claiming. Actually, this lady is
hmm
actually fighting. She said that she didn't, she wants to get her degree rescinded because she actually had a, what is it? She said she had an associate's degree, but she didn't. So she says that she doesn't qualify to have a bachelor's degree, and the fact that she has a bachelor's degree is keeping her from qualifying for some programs.
hmm
So she wants to have her degree rescinded, but they're not letting her. So she actually has a lawsuit. So that's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the corruption, right, of not the entertainment industry, right, hip hop included, right,
hmm
is also, I think, in the education industry and in many industries. And I
Yeah.
think that it's we need to fight not necessarily against hip hop, or once again, right. I think there was people who was really meant well in the Zulu Nation. Much love out to Zulu Nation, but yeah, where there's some people who are in leadership who might have abused their thing, they got to be held accountable. It's true for the Democrats, the Republicans, judges, elected
hmm
officials. Yeah. So sorry to go off on that little
No,
side
that's all right.
piece.
You
Yeah,
got. You got.
but I don't think hip hop is necessarily. And much love to Hassan. Sorry that you went through those issues. And I'm a fan, man. And one day maybe you come on the show. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Be cool.
So
Or Leela.
it basically, yeah.
Yeah, I would
Hmm?
let's see Leela on the show. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, it was just basically nothing going on. Cover some events. So everybody knows last week of budget talk. So mostly everything about the budget in both the city council and the state assembly, state legislature. So basically, I mean, it's just all budget talks and etc. I mean, it was basically nothing really going on that much. People like, it's just going to change. I doubt it. Nothing at all. Just money, money, money. About what's going on in the city council, and the state assembly, and state senate. Um, that's all. We did some little speaking at some panels, not panel like city council committee meetings about certain things I'm
Oh, I
for.
think I saw that. Yeah, did you post that? You actually spoke at city council, right?
Yeah, I
You've been
mean,
doing that regularly. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it's not bad at
What'd you
all. I
speak
mean,
about?
so, depend. One that was an education committee. I said we need a Jewish holiday. Uh, so with Jewish Heritage Month inside the city schools, and then another panel went after the fact. I spoke about how you should be able to fundraise, nonprofits should be able to fundraise inside the sports venues because they can't fundraise via like gambling. So I saw about that. It was basically nothing. It's basically nothing patty, and that's it. So there's nothing really happened this week. I know
Wait, you want
this week,
not-for-profits to be able to use the stadiums?
like the fundraise, like you can fundraise through gambling. It's like paying $5 to spin a wheel, and if you get it, you win, you get like a toy. You know what I mean? It's
I
something
think
like
they
you
should
can't.
be able to do at stadiums. I mean, aren't a lot of stadiums like taxpayer funded?
Yeah, it is taxpayer funded.
So why can't the not-for-profits use the stadium?
I don't know. I think because of the usually in the past, like there's a lot of nonprofits that are like scams, and I think they got a lot of heat for that because nonprofits, if the right person and we know how to talk to people, you can get a spot in the stadium to fundraise. But what happens if that nonprofit's a scam? Now you got a
It doesn't
problem.
have to be
So they call.
free. I mean, it'd be nice if they did have some for free, but it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be free.
but
So,
nonprofits got to make money some way. I mean, not all nonprofits are bad, but it's always those shitty nonprofits that you gotta deal with. So they probably messed up everybody else, so they probably made it legal. Now they want to be legal. So that's what's going on.
and there's a lot
So
of people that are working for these crappy nonprofits and organizations, but it's really, I'm sorry to say, right, this is going to be really directed at you, right? Yeah, the fact of the matter is that not you, Chris, but the people that work in these organizations that are letting these bad things go down and looking the other way, right?
hmm
These organizations don't have to be like that, and you can stand up and change it. But the fact that you're letting it happen, okay, makes those organizations crappy. So get your ass up, stop slacking, call out the BS, you know what I mean, and just stop it right there. It doesn't have to happen, but you're letting it happen. Stop it, okay? That's sorry, just throwing that in there, right? Yeah, I don't
yeah,
really blame the
so, right.
organizations. I
So,
blame these people that are too
oh
cowardly to
yeah,
say
yeah,
anything
yeah.
or do anything
Yeah. I
about it.
know.
Yeah,
I share my blame with that too. You're totally correct about that. Yeah, but there are a lot of them that are shitty. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
There's none of them that are crappy. Just like the ones that was like people we talk about. I think you deal with a lot. We'll probably get that later on the show because
yeah.
we had the but make the road New York, the DSA, and Welcome New York, and none of these nonprofits they like the fucking worst. We don't know what that's about. So this week is gonna be a crazy week. If you're ready to go out there with your camera, make sure you stay safe out there because it's gonna be something's gonna be crazy on Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, there's gonna be Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from I think Georgia. She's gonna be in New York City, Lower Manhattan, Collect Pond Park, right across the street from the DA's office, and they're gonna have a rally. So it's gonna go crazy Tuesday. Tomorrow it's gonna be time. I don't know. I might go to one thing, but there's gonna be a rally about the gun, the kids who got killed up
Tennessee.
in Tennessee,
Yeah.
hosted by Gays Against Guns at 6:30, and then in Lower Manhattan at the same time, the Republicans, Latinos, the clergy will be
Who's in
down there
Gays
praying.
Against Guns? Maybe I know them.
It's a organization. They the ones that fight against. They try to go. We want to ban the guns and shit like that.
Okay.
Whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Progressive organization. They deal with Antifa. Some of them deal with Antifa, but
Oh yeah, there's actually been quite a Actually, you know who I invited on the show today? I didn't get a response, but she was asking what it was about. But Talia, I think she
oh
has some
yeah,
association with them, right?
yeah. I don't think so. Not. I don't think so. I doubt it.
No, it's all good.
hmm So that's the thing with her. I mean, not me her, but them. And then the same time at 6:30, thing Lower Manhattan at 130 Leonard Street, there's going to be a prayer for Donald Trump with the clergy. I'm not going for that. I don't want to go for that. I would rather go against
Oh, I think I
Donald.
saw something with you on Twitter, like you and Talia Jane. She is also she claims Antifa, correct?
hmm
What is she? What was she talking about?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I think I lost count. I don't really care about her. I mean, it is like,
Oh my god, yeah. Look, you know what I mean? I get it, you know what I mean? I don't really think she really
yeah,
represents Antifa. But Antifa can't kick her out either, you know what I mean? You could do whatever you want in there, so
yeah,
that's hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah, she's
hmm
hilarious, whatever.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. She
mad,
is a
like,
lot.
she really, I think she really believes what she's talking about. Maybe, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
So,
know. Anyways,
so
so
let's,
yeah, he was talking about some event going on. Tuesday's gonna be big. Marty Taylor
yeah.
Green, then you said Antifa's doing some event or something Antifa
I
related.
don't know, but they probably won't be ready to counter protest. You know how that's going to be. I
Gays
think
against
something crazy.
guns. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Monday. It's on Monday night. Tomorrow night to be exact. It's Monday night.
It seems weird that Antifa would be for government control. And supposedly Antifa
They,
is also pro-vaccine. That seems also weird. I mean, like
yeah, it is really
government
weird.
mandated vaccines. What kind of
Hmm
anarchists are these? Does this even make sense to you?
Not at all. I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't even like it's not consistent. Like
Like,
baffling. So when people like believe it, yeah, it's like the. Have you ever heard something called QAnon?
yeah, I heard of that. That's like more like conspiracy theories.
Supposedly, this is what I heard. I don't know what you heard about QAnon. I heard QAnon believes that I've never met any of these people in real life. I don't even think they really exist. Supposedly, they believe that
Hmm
Trump is the resurrection of Christ.
hmm
Really? Yo, who really believes that? Come on. Yo, these people, someone's
Yeah,
making these people up. That's what I think. Who really believes that? The dude's in Home Alone. Come on, man. Come on, he's the resurrection of Christ. You gotta
yeah,
be kidding me. It's hilarious.
yeah,
Do these people really exist? I don't think so.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so
Oh,
Antifa, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, so they're doing an event, gays against guns and stuff. Okay, well, you know,
tomorrow night. I'm going for that.
I
Sorry
get
about that. I'm
people
going
for
for
gun
that.
control, and I get that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can't have weapons lying around. People are gonna get hurt. You know, like
Hmm
why don't we just put guns inside the nursery schools? I mean, you just take precautions. It's intelligent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
You know what else is
So,
whack? Those stun guns. That lady. Did you see the recent story of some lady attacked some dude with a stun gun on the train?
no, I never saw that.
I was attacked with a stun gun on the train. It's great. I saw a dude threaten a dude with a stun gun on the train. There's too many stun guns out there. That is also disturbing.
Hmm
Anyways, yeah. Sorry to go off
So
on that
let's
one.
keep it. Let's go for it. We'll border people. Allow. Let's
So
not border
yeah,
people.
the gays against guns thing. You know, I got such a negative experience from the going to that. It did get me a lot of views, but what was it? The drag queen story hour thing.
Yeah,
The thing is
I,
that
I really, huh?
even though I tried to talk to these people, right, the organized event, Eric Botcher, even asking for peace, asking for a conversation, they just did not respond. I documented all of that. So if I go to this gays against guns thing, and I go there and try to have an honest conversation, I don't think that maybe they'll do it, but I got such a bad taste from the last one. I think that they're
Yeah,
just not going to even talk to me. I think they're just going to scream and start calling names and say, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you don't think like me."
yeah. Probably have that feeling
I hope
too.
not. But if any of the organizers out there or any of the people who are willing to have a
It's a Bryant
conversation on
Park.
this, hit me up and I'll have you on my show, or
Yeah,
maybe have you on next week. Yeah.
it's at Bryant Park. I mean, I don't like going. I'm not going down to Logan Head. It's like it's just too much. It's just like I totally get what's going on. Like I just don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever.
Who's
Well, I might go down. I don't know. I probably pick and choose tomorrow. See what's up tomorrow. Like,
who's organizing the event
what you mean for the clergy?
besides
It's
gays
my
against? Oh, the clergy's going to be there.
no. The clergy's gonna be in Lower Manhattan, a
Okay.
Republican one, Republican Latinos. So it's about Trump. So it's like whatever with that. You know what I'm
You
saying?
ever hear of DJ Brenda Black?
I heard of her. She followed me on Twitter and Facebook and
Okay.
Instagram.
Well, oh yeah. What do you think about the Trump indictment? Wow, that's interesting. Happened in New York,
I
Alvin
mean,
Bragg and stuff.
I think it's a political attack. I think they're trying to undermine Trump. They know that a lot of people they want Trump to lose. They know he had a chance of winning. They want this fucking guy DeSantis to win because DeSantis is a shill. I mean, he's a clown. I don't like the guy. They want this guy to win so bad, so what they gotta do is undermine Trump. So the by doing it is getting this guy to lose. You know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing with him. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. What about the last contenders like Rubio or what's the other guy's name?
They have no chance. Rubio and Haley and the other guy, I think some Indian guy, they have no chance at all.
There's also some other guy.
No
There's
chance.
some I forgot his name. Some white guy.
Yeah,
I forgot his name though. Yeah, he ran for president. He's been keeping his Kevin or something.
Kevin, Kevin, yeah.
I forgot his name. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, no,
anyways.
they have no chance. I mean, it just put Trump and that's it. They just want Trump or their chances to win that. But
Yeah.
they want to undermine Trump so bad, you know what I'm saying? The thing about him. It's fucking horrible.
Also, another topic that we were supposed to talk about today, talking about Trump, though, right? The thing is that I definitely feel as an Asian American, and maybe I'm not going to get backed up here, but when they said stop Asian hate, it's not like they suddenly started caring about us. They just saw us as a
Mm-mm.
convenient path to attack Trump, and
Yep.
honestly, I don't really appreciate that. You know what I mean? You can see that the way that they're manufacturing the footage. The fact of the matter is that they say that only women and old people are victims. Meanwhile, right, people who have been, delivery guys, right, Chinese people do deliver food too. I know a lot of Spanish people took that over. That's one of the most dangerous jobs out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
yeah, people were getting jumped for the money, and that just wasn't being
Oh,
reported. So right, so recently, you actually covered on your stuff. I follow Chris Leon Johnson, Chris Leon John YC. Uh, I'll put that in the title, I guess, yeah, or in the comments. But yeah, you were covering a story about some Chinese police officer that was actually was they giving him the middle finger in the video? What was happening? He was holding the finger like
I
this, right? He was
think
going like
at the
this.
Times Square, yeah, he was getting fingered and he was getting middle pointed by the finger and being harassed.
Yeah.
Got called Bruce Lee looking cop. Like it was some racist shit. Racist motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, we'll talk about that right now. And I know why I can't say it on Twitter because I think I said it on Twitter. I don't give a fuck, and I'll say here on here. And I
Fine.
know
Yeah.
this
This
might
this is the show's
the
for.
reason. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. The suspect is black, right? You just look at the picture, you look at the photo. The guy's black. He's African American. What do you want to call it? Now, what goes on is these elected officials don't want to piss off Sharpton. They don't want to piss off Black Lives Matter. They don't want to piss off these certain activists because they don't want to be seen as a racist because they trying to out a black person. Now, it's completely bullshit. They doing this stuff like you outing a black you they refusing to put these people on blast because of their race. But everybody know if that was like a white person that did that stuff, they would had a rally, they would had a vigil, they would have something saying that stop Asian hate, we gotta stop this, and white supremacy and Donald Trump and everything they need to do to try to push the agenda, their own agenda, just to get paid.
Oh,
And that's all they
actually,
trying to.
here's an interesting. Well, actually, there's something interesting that happened. Just to provide a little bit of context on this particular thought right here, right? We actually
Mhm.
went to the vigils recently, right? With you actually invited me, right? KAACF or whatever they had, Korean.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
photo
they
op.
said that they were. Yeah, they said they were talking about. I went to talk to some people. They said, "What is this vigil for?" Some of the people said something about going on in Tennessee. I said, "Wait a minute, I'm doing work with Salamander Brandy, DSA coach here in Tennessee, right? Yeah. If you want to talk about right, yeah, helping that issue out and trying to prevent new victims, right? But they still haven't gotten back to me. Actually,
Hmm.
none of these Asian American leaders are really getting back to me, and I believe that honestly they have a message from the top, and here's some evidence to back that up. Remember when the lady in Brooklyn got burned, and they had a they can't burn us all thing with what's his name, China Mac?
China Mac and the crew, yeah, they they
Yeah,
they, they came out crazy. I saw like, wow, even
yeah,
the
they.
Broken Borough president, that Eric Adams, the Broken Borough president, he came
Mm-hmm.
out there because I think they was
Oh,
very.
you were there? Were you there?
I
Okay.
heard that there was a rumor that they was gonna fucking shut that city down. Right?
Yeah.
Was that true?
Well, they had a
Yeah.
huge right. They had a huge turnout, right? And the thing
Mm-hmm.
is that Ron Kim dissed it because he wants to be the only option. You get what I mean?
Yep.
So the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that they try to shut these things down. Now, since then, I think that in order to not piss them off, what happens is that they've given, right, like some of the people that are associated with that movement a little bit of appearances here and there, but they really
Yeah.
quieted it down and they kept China Mac from. He's done a little bit of activism stuff, but you see that he, like, commenting on this topic, he could lean into the activism lane, but he's kind of backing off. And I
Yeah.
get it too, right? That wasn't really his focus or his desire, but he was doing a lot of good work, and he still is, I think, doing decent representation for the Asian American people, and I appreciate his work on that. If he could come out and stand up for this particular issue right here, it would be cool, but also it's weird for him to come out and look out for police officers. So there's a lot of things going on, right?
Yeah.
For his own brand or whatever, right? For his own marketing reasons. He might feel, but I can do that, right? But
Yeah.
once again, right?
Yeah.
And if anybody knows that police officer, please have him contact the show, or I'd like to contact him. You know what I mean? And as a police officer, though, also works in the department, he won't be able to comment.
Yeah.
But maybe he could point me to some other people who would. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I see what happened. It's like because that's how not like elected officials they get vindictive, and let's say like China Mac will work with a certain nonprofit.
Now, I gotta ask you for a special favor here. Now, the thing is
Yeah,
that,
cool.
right? Larry Sharp actually, I did feel like he's okay, right? Yeah, he did say something which was interesting. He says a lot of white people, when they see a black person doing something wrong, they don't want to say anything because they're scared they're going to be called racist. So what they do is, right? Well, he says this funny phenomenon happens when a black person is doing something crazy or out of pocket, right? Maybe even attacking someone. Well, all the white people in the room will look at him as a black person like, are you going to do something about this? And all of a sudden, it becomes his responsibility to fix that situation, even though he's not really any different from any of those white people. You get what I mean? But because he's black, right? So the thing is that in this case, right, you're saying a black person is attacking, and there's definitely an amount of truth to that, where the white people don't want to get involved. So, do you think that it is fair for me to ask black legislators or black people, right? Yeah, who understand the situation maybe and I think that black people have been more receptive toward Asian American interests, right, than a lot of white folks. Not trying to diss white folks in general, but they're just not as aware of the problem because they haven't experienced it themselves, so they don't really see it through that lens. So we really need like Eric Adams, things like that, to come out and back up, Asian Americans out here.
Yeah, I think you should call it out because the ones that in this, let's say they're not calling that shit out. None of them are.
And all the organizations will not talk to me.
Yeah,
No
none of them are
Tool,
calling out.
Julie Wan, Linda Lee, right? Yeah, I think that a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah, you had put something on the Twitter, then I put something back to Linda Lee, and then I tagged you, and then you're like, yeah, you should talk to him, Linda Lee. She's not getting back to me. I think they have instructions not to get back to me. Seriously.
Yeah. So I think you should call them out. Like the Asian American man, call them out. Get a chance. If you have a bully pulpit, call them out.
I am, but they're just not talking about it. Yeah. So they're trying.
Yeah,
they're working with the media to blackball all my stuff. So if I call them out, right, like nobody talks about it. So they're just like hoping that I'll go away eventually.
Yeah. So I mean, what happens with
like Juan Ardilla? He's completely right. Yeah, back to it's business as usual. He's just like it never happened.
Yeah, but he's gonna get kicked out. I have a feeling he's gonna get fired. I have a feeling he's gonna resign.
But he's making moves like nothing happened, and people aren't still like going at him. I don't think, are they?
Yeah, I don't like a few people are, but it's gonna bite him in the ass because it's just the DA is gonna have investigation. The DA have investigation on the guy. It's gonna go down on this guy. He's not gonna last. Even the primary, he's not gonna last. He won't last. I doubt it. But going back to the Asian thing, I mean, we're trying to mag. I mean, because it depends. I don't know if he was there and you start seeing who the speakers were. We got to go back to the video. If they are a nonprofit or they affiliate with certain nonprofits, that's how the elected officials like Ron Kim could try to shut it down. Let's say like China Mac held a rally tomorrow about that Asian guy getting hurt, and then he has like the Asian American Federation with him. Ron Kim could be like, okay, Asian American Federation, if you want this money, you got to associate yourselves with China Mac. That's how they do a lot of the nonprofit. They hold these nonprofit hostage with the money. And that's all they do is with the money. So that's what them. That's what thing with her. With the nonprofits, they're so corrupt. They're so crooked. You know what I'm saying? Second thing is usually like going back to the whole race thing. They don't want none of the guys don't want to piss off Sharpton. They don't want to be accused of being racist, which is disgusting. But we all know what this is about. They're just trying to protect black people. They're trying to protect the race that is overpopulated in prisons and who are underpopulated unrepresented in politics. But they already know they're being used all the time. Like especially black people, they just like being used. I don't get it why, but That's all that's going on. It just a lot of these elected officials they don't want to shake the boat. They don't want to rock the boat. But the only way you're gonna have people start really trusting you and prevent these primaries in the general election, and that's what Ron Kim learned the hard way, is you got to rock the boat. Because you rock the boat, people start trusting you. Of course, you will create a lot of enemies, right? It's like Ron Kim create a lot of enemies in CPC, but he needs to start creating enemies within the other organizations and start doing the thing because they're not doing the right thing for his people. His people are getting hurt by the black population, but these same nonprofits they're not calling it out because they don't want to piss off the mayor, who's African American. They don't want to piss off the Queensboro president, who's African American. They don't want to piss off the Speaker of City Council, who's African American. They don't want to piss off the Speaker of State Assembly, who's African American. They don't want to piss off the Senate Majority Leader, who's African American. You don't want to piss off
I think a lot of these
uh,
black people don't understand the issue, but there is definitely amount of political, cowardice that's going on,
yeah,
and
a lot of it.
having, and the fact of the matter is that there needs to be and honestly, I contacted all these organizations, Julie One, Linda Lee, Grace Lee, right? Yeah, all of them. I want to have a mobilization. I talked about AFI, right? Yeah. And I said,
Hmm.
let's get all of the members to register to vote, stuff like that, right? Let me help you. Let's get them running for county committee seats if they live in Manhattan.
Hmm.
No response. I have to go stop by some of the offices and Mass or
Yeah, I think you
CSWA. I'm going to
should.
get some of those people
Check
to
it.
run for county committee. It's almost season right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about her. Let's think about them. Now, we can go forward to another topic.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Stuff.
So, yeah, I appreciate you covering that topic though. We don't really
I
have.
really think
Thanks for
no
being an
problem.
ally with the for the
No
Asian American
problem.
people and helping
I do
us
my best.
address our issues. Yeah, I
I
really
do my
appreciate. That's
best.
very rare for that to happen. That's
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that was also at the end of petitioning season right now. Right. It's the last. Petitions are actually. I think they're opening tomorrow to start taking them
No,
in.
April 10th.
Oh, did
April they
they move it
extended it
back?
until the Passover. The state senator on my read he put a resolution, I think, to extend the petitioning date to the 10th of April.
Okay, yeah. Before it was 3 to 7, but I guess they moved it back to the 10th. Okay, that's cool. So, yeah, I see people out there petitioning hard. Yeah. Oh, here's
Hmm.
something interesting. So I was out by a story the other day, actually yesterday, and I ran into some consultant. They said they were like with Systems Consulting or something, getting the petitions for Melinda Katz, right? I
Hmm.
said, so they're not a volunteer or anything. Who do you know any of these corporate campaign consultant agencies by name?
I really don't
I forgot the name,
know
but
them
yeah.
all. I know there's only like one that I really know more. It's like, yeah, Hank Shankoff. He does political consulting. Michael Lambert does consulting.
There's some
Uh,
Chinese guy who they say is good, who did some work with Yang too or something. I don't know if you heard about him.
yeah, I don't even know who that person is, but
Okay.
you gotta pay that money. You gotta fundraise for that. But they guarantee they go get the names. You pay. Usually, you is petitioning is kind of like complex, but there's a way you can do petitioning. You can either, I think Diochino can explain it more about because he's like the Yoda of petitioning, the Yoda of petitions. You can either get volunteers or you can get paid people, consultants to do the petitioning, or you can do both. Now, if you're the type of person that can able to get a crowd, usually if you have the charisma and you know how to retain people because of your charisma, you could probably get them to do it for free. They'll track all the way to petition for you for free. That's kind of rare. Usually some like you can do with organizations, but
Yeah.
usually you have to have a sit down. They gotta endorse you to do petitioning for you. But when it comes, or you gotta, or either two you can fundraise.
Oh, just
But
just a quick moment. Do you see this right here?
yeah, I see it right my block.
Okay.
Diochino.
This is a list of all the voters and exactly where they live, right? The ones. So the thing is that when you're petitioning, we make this actually. We actually made Theo Chino's right, the one who made this information free and accessible via
Hmm.
online. I'm just helping him to publicize it. So there's something called Rep My Block, and I can actually get you these voter lists for free if you're a petitioner, right? Or if you're actually thinking about running for county committee in Manhattan or
Yeah,
Staten
good,
Island. You
good.
have until the 10th. You have one more week. Okay, hit me up and join my Rep My Block team, and I will get you onto county committee in this cycle, like now. We will put power in your
Yeah,
hands now.
and then make sure you guys, if petitioning, if you are petitioning,
Yeah,
make sure that the signatures are neat. Make sure you vet the signatures because this is how you get knocked off the ballot. In New York State, there's a thing called petition challenging. The
yeah,
old original law was anybody in the state can challenge a petition. So that means, let's say I live in Brooklyn and I'm running in the 41st district of city council. Anybody, it could be someone in Binghamton, New York, and come all the way down to New York City and challenge my petition. That was the old law. Until I think a few years ago, a judge made it case law because somebody sued a petitioner because that like a challenger because a challenger came from another part of town. He came to another town to challenge a petition in a different town, and he got the petition knocked off. So the
yeah.
candidate sued the board of elections and the challenger, and the judge says like, nah, fuck that. But here and now, if you want to challenge a petition, you gotta live in the certain, you gotta live in the same, you gotta live in the area that you gotta live in the area, but you live your petition. So let's say
Wait
you're
a second. Wait,
running.
yeah. You actually, I know you donate a lot to these candidates and stuff like that. Do you actually petition yourself?
No, I don't.
I
Unless
don't
I
petition either. To tell you the truth.
if it's a
I'm going to.
yeah,
Yeah, I did before.
I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm not either. Yeah, but tell me why you don't petition actually, because I have my reasons. I'm going to share them right now. But go ahead.
Unless I'm getting paid. It's
Yeah.
actually the opposition to you. Unless I'm getting paid, or there's a certain candidate that I really believe in and they did a lot for me, I will go out there and petition for them. But I'm not just gonna just petition for somebody. It's fucking
Yeah.
it's no I get nothing, I'll be miserable as fuck. And I tell people this, if a candidate I have my reasons for donating, but if you're running on your last dollar or you just give it because you have if the candidate that's running for office doesn't say what you want to hear or you don't believe them, don't do nothing for them. Don't donate to their campaign. Don't fundraise for them. Don't do anything for them, right? Because
So many candidates myself after I've gotten petitions, they just abandoned me. They didn't care. You know, what I mean, you're just a replaceable labor person. There's another person getting petitions, and right, even if you got like a big number, they'll just take what they got from you and move on. And you know, I get why from politically, right? They do actually look at the big money. Someone who's willing to donate $1,000, they could pay someone to get maybe 500 signatures that way. So they look at your 200 signatures, whatever you spent, right? How much time, how many days. You're replaceable labor for them for many of these candidates. So after being burned many times, I'm going to once again, if they want to invest in me, right? If they want to create a sustainable system, they got to show me now instead of
yep,
promising and talking about it. You know,
yeah, and that's
I
what I
agree
tell
with you
people.
100%.
And
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you that's what I tell people. Like, look, if the candidate does not want to do anything for you, do the same thing. Don't do shit in return because don't be burnt because this happens to a lot of people, and that's what making people leave politics because it's electoral politics because they help somebody out, they will do everything I do for a candidate, and the candidate get elected, they don't get a call back. They don't get a guy, not even email. They get nothing back, and they feel like I've been fucked over, and they leave. So I will tell people, especially the young people, is ask you got a cause. Let's say you fight for Asian rights or you fight for anything. If that candidate doesn't tell what you want to hear or you don't believe the bullshit, then don't do anything for them because you know they're full of shit. It's that
Yeah.
damn simple.
And
So
be
there's a
really
few
careful
people.
when they have organization that loves young people. They love to exploit young people. Be very.
Mhm.
If you see a bunch of young people around, oh man,
Be
warning bells should
careful.
go off.
Be careful because they can be corrupted. They're young, they're ambitious,
Absolutely,
they have goals, and people who have fucked up intentions, they could exploit that, and
absolutely,
then
and they
it could
do.
be a big problem. In political world, in the nonprofit world, they do this stuff, and
It's
especially the
relentless.
nonprofit.
It's the
The
rule.
nonprofit
It's not the exception. It is like almost universal truth in this sector.
and I'll tell you this right now: if the nonprofit, let's say the candidate running for office, they come from a nonprofit, their organizer or executive director, anything to that extent, and they try to run for office, you have to be real careful about them because they know how to work. They know how to fucking manipulate people. They know how to
Hmm.
engineer people to do things for them for free. Because they do this in the nonprofit sector, especially if they come from an advocacy based organization such as Make the Road New York and Vocal New York, any of the organizations that down the Working Family Party, and the housing, mainly the housing based organizations. We can like UFED, and we'll break down the best of the DSA.
Youth.
And now
Yeah.
while we're here, let's talk about DSA. We was going to talk about DSA while we're here, while we brought this name up, the Democrat Socialist America. Let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about UFED. While that's like a housing based
Yeah.
organ. And you told me about UFED, and I was like, yeah, you're totally correct about UFED. There was an event that was on Monday. I didn't go to that. I was like, this is bullshit. Like the people over there in Coney Island, they're gonna be displaced. They're going to be displaced. There's nothing they can really do about it. The fix is already in.
Yeah.
You have two council. You have mostly all the council members. They're not going to go against the developers, so they're basically fucked over there. So while we're here, let's talk about DSA. What were you talking about? What were you talking about the DSA? You were talk about how
Okay.
they're.
So the thing is that I've been talking. So if you take a look at like Washington State, right? The thing
Hmm.
is that over there, the unions encourage their rank and file to run for county committee, because the
Hmm.
county committee determines the Democratic Party leadership.
Hmm.
So the thing is that the DSA right now, they have actually a lot of young people, right? Yeah, Warren Bell should be going off. They got a lot of people showing up at their events. These people could swarm into county committee, right, and
Hmm.
actually start to affect the Democratic Party leadership. But okay, the thing is that for some reason DSA is leadership is not really recommending this. In fact, the aristocracy of people that are running or claim to be running the organization, right, are actually steering people away from doing what's in their own best interest and empowering themselves so they can really maintain, a monopolization of the resources, access, and money. And another thing that's weird is that I'm on their electoral working group Slack, and I, put this stuff on public, right? The thing is that you can see that the candidates themselves, even candidates that are not necessarily, involved in, national level business, they're not participating with the campaign at all, with the workers or the help. So what kind of socialism is this that completely, right, yeah, creates a clear hierarchy and a walls that prevent you from being able to interact with or have a conversation with the people that you're working to elect, right? It's
Yeah.
weird and, obviously dissonant. It's the same thing as there's a lot of hypocrisy in the progressive left. Huge hypocrisy. And so right now, sorry, just to cram this last one in, they had the National Trans Day of Remembrance, the day, and, those people face a lot of, discrimination, and, not all of them are bad, not all of them are good. I mean, both ways, right? But the ones that are, doing positive work, and there's support from the DSA co-chair of Memphis, Tennessee, has her court date coming up on May 1st. DSA New York City is not, they're going to these rallies, they're not actually helping her with her court fees. They're not helping her with her legal, they're not even talking to her or talking about it. They're having these events for, the dead, because the dead can't ask for justice, but they don't have any events for the living, or they're not
Hmm.
concerned about justice for the living. It is absurd. And DSA, I did another video recently with Carmen Bellichu, right, member of DSA. What they did is they put her on the newsletter, but that's about it. Otherwise, it was the rank and file, other people that sympathized with her condition that were also struggling, that went to DSA for help, that ended up helping her, not DSA leadership. No
Yep.
money, no funds, no. They put her on a newsletter to ask other members to help her out, and that's the extent, right, of the help that she received. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
DSA has millions and millions and millions of dollars for what? I want to know.
Yeah. The DSA is not really a socialist organization. They're not really socialists. That's just a name.
Yeah.
DSA came from another organization. I think it's called ISO. I think Do could probably Do. I think Do know this, know a little more. You haven't got.
I used to
he
be in
probably-
ISO. Did you
Yeah,
know that?
they came. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a
I've
funny
never
story
been-
about
I've
that.
been-
I'm sorry.
I've
Yeah, go
never been
ahead.
ISO. I've never been ISO. I've never been there. But the DSA came from the ISO. I think they turned the name now to now DSA. The
Interesting.
DSA, they're not really a socialist organization. They're nothing but corporate. They're nothing but want to be social climbers, political social climbers. All they care about is getting up in the political ladder some way, somehow, either by stomping on people's feet, fucking people over, and etc. Um, There's a number of them I don't like, and the feelings are mutual because I put the asses on blast all the time on Twitter and in the street too, because you're not gonna talk to me like these elected officials. I'm not elected official. You can't talk to me like that. But a number of these guys, they there's nothing but cancer. They're obnoxious and they're cancerous to the political climate in New York State. You know, a number of those guys, they act like they fighting something, but then really not. They're protecting the issue, really especially protecting the issue. You know,
Or they're protecting their
um,
organizations and making them
mhm,
funded and channeling money to their own power
yep,
scheme and structure, the machine.
hmm
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, that's basically what they are.
Do you think it's possible to win without a machine?
Basically, no. You need a machine. You need someone to really help you out. You gotta say these areas are huge. If
Yeah.
you're running in the city council district, there like it's like in Manhattan. Manhattan, you need a machine to help you out. You need allies to help you win these races. In
Yeah.
Manhattan, it's a lot of institutions you got to touch, and sometimes you might be able to touch those institutions. You have to get people to touch them for you. This is why you have to sometimes create allies. Sometimes even people you might not have the same political ideologies with, because they might be able to get you those votes and get you those votes in those facilities. It's like there's certain areas where they don't let women who don't like to cover up
Yeah.
into their institutions. You need someone that's able to do that to get you the votes. There's a lot of political favors you got to do. Um, that's basically it. DSA just they're not even a real socialist organization. There's other socialist organizations that that try their best to do the work, like what's the organization? The Socialist Alternative, the
Okay.
Party of Socialism Liberation. Um, you know that basically those organizations.
Well, I'll tell
You
you also
know,
that Party of Socialism and Liberation, I also have evidence on my channel of me reaching out to them, and they are also not responding, right? The leadership of I believe there's people at PSL who are once again just like we talked about before, Zulu Nation or like, DSA that mean well, right? But
hmm
the leadership once again is playing their own aristocracy game. The
yeah.
PSL, I hope y'all watch this. Y'all shutting me out. It's time for us to have a conversation. Why are you not responding, PSL? I want to know.
hmm
What people associated, which people are you talking about? Because you excluded me. Who else you excluded? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I know you support them in some ways. Socialist Alternative too, right? I'm waiting for a
Yeah.
conversation. All these groups. Not one of them really responding. All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just. Oh, UFAD. So the thing is that we were talking about UFAD earlier too. Look, the fact of the matter is that if they're willing to help in some ways, we can take the
hmm
help, but watch for that turn, because that turn is coming. That betrayal is coming, and be ready to protect your own interests and don't just blindly support these leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really banking and
Yeah,
taking
but
advantage of the membership.
going back, because they try to fight for Coney Island. Their target is Coney Island because they have a plan to put a casino. I think the people there are screwed. Now the problem with NYCHA is just with because those people have a voter block. They have a certain voter block, and what happens
NYCHA?
is
I think
yeah,
they
they have a
believe.
voter.
Did you see the recent picture of RPPH at Albany? The dude was all alone. They're having a lot of problems mobilizing. I mean, yeah, they got people out for this and actually that wasn't a
Yeah,
bad thing. Coney Island, they
that's
actually
what
got people out, which is nice.
Grace
Yeah,
Lee was out for. Yeah, this because NYCHA is not popular. The developers are down for privatizing NYCHA. And you understand, but if people start about developers, they run a lot. They have a big pull in the political world, a big pull in the political world. They're the ones that fund these nonprofits. They're the ones that fund these politicians, especially in the state level. And they don't want to piss off revenue. They don't want to piss off the developers. So by doing that, they try to be silent with that, and they try to be silent with that, and try to steer away from it. You might have elected officials out there trying to fight with RPPH, but they're not going to really go hard for them because they don't want to piss off the people that got them into political power, got them into office.
yeah,
Um, it's a tough, it's real a taboo suspect to touch. It's real taboo. It's a taboo subject to touch. But the problem with the NYCHA, and this is why I have a big problem with NYCHA, mainly over there, is a voter block. You gotta remember the people out there, they're usually old or they're disabled or they can't work and depend on government funding, like
Yeah.
welfare, like or like that. And they will vote mainly Democrat, and they
Yeah.
will vote established Democrat. They will vote for the person that elect. Let's say like the state senator will bring out to give out food, or give out book bags, or
Hmm.
give out clothing, or give out turkeys. That's who they vote for. They don't vote for a person that say, "Well, you get me in, I'll make nights safer. I'll make sure that these gangbangers don't hang around your buildings no more." They don't vote for that. They'll vote for somebody that give out a turkey. So you could bribe them with turkeys. You could bribe them with fucking bullshit. It's not even tangibles. It's just items. And Nike has a big problem with that. And that come with the help of the leadership, mainly the tenant president. Because there's certain tenant presidents, and I'm not saying all of them are corrupt, but a majority of them are no fucking good. They will sell out their community for a heartbeat. They'll sell them out for
For a trip to
a
Vienna.
mm-hmm, trip to Vienna, taxpayer funded shuffle rides to wherever they gotta go, being on camera, taking photos with the mayor, with Donald Trump. And speaking of Donald, let's talk about this. I know that you had Carmen on your show a few times.
Yeah.
Carmen Quinones,
Yeah.
she can't be trusted.
I
Carmen
understand that.
Quinones,
She's also
you know,
powerful, though. I understand she
she
has
is,
mixed,
and she
performance,
got
but
a.
yeah.
She didn't. I don't think she ever told you. She got her girl in trouble for that. In 2020,
Which one?
it's about one of her another tenant leader. She was
Who is Cynthia Tibbs?
not Teddy Tip, somebody else.
Who'd she think? Okay.
Let me see. Somebody, let me go Google right now while you're here. Carmen Quinones Trump.
I respect her
Google.
hustle. I respect her hustle. She's a hard worker. She does
Yeah,
have things coming in. Yeah. She, we're all playing the hand we're dealt. Even you,
Carmen
Thad, right? Yeah.
Quinones.
If look, I can even give them credit for doing the event. Right, it's better than nothing. Right? Yeah.
All right, so and this is about politics, right? All right, here it
Yeah.
is. All right, Claudia Perez. She got fucked over with the help of by Carmen because politics is like this. This is like explaining people.
Yeah.
These elected officials, these elected officials, they could be diabolical,
Right.
and something. And the reason some of them are real successful because they will tell you their real intentions with you at the end. And are you able to fulfill the part they want you to fulfill?
Right.
Now, what happened in 2020? Trump needed support in New York City badly. He
Mm-hmm.
had to win the general. He wanted to win the general election, and he had to win in NYC some way somehow.
Right.
So what happened was they know because Lynn Patton was the director of HUD. She technically ran the public housing of
Okay.
the federal public housing, but she run NYCHA. She runs every public housing in the state in the country. She's like the director of it. They go kiss the federal. They had to kiss her ass. Trump appointed her to be the director, the lead for HUD, right? So she knew my NYCHA, right? Trump needed support in NYC some way somehow. He had to pull where he had to win 2020. So what they did, and they knew about Carmen, because Carmen is the type of person to mingle with everybody,
Yeah.
just for the camera. She mingled with Spitzer.
I get that.
So they knew this. They knew that she'll do anything to get on. She'll do anything to act like she's living good. And those type of people can be
Okay.
corrupted. So they
Could be.
knew this. The government knew it, and Lynn knew it. So they picked her to say, "Okay, fuck it. Let's get this. We'll pamper her. We'll put her in these 5-star hotels. We'll fly out to the. We'll get her into the
I
White
think
House."
she's right to. I think she's right to play that position. I mean, she's just. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep all the options open and keep right. Yeah, some pressure on. So, I'm.
Yeah,
Look, I'm not saying that. I get both sides of it, and also I know that she's fighting for Red Pact in ways. Right? Yeah, I know a lot of this is very unpopular, but whether it goes through or not, right? Yeah, people think that stopping one thing is gonna right do whatever. In the end, it's really the way that it's carried out, and by the way that and the end result is they can say whatever they want. They say do it this way. If you do it another way, that's the end product. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
really, we need the community to have to understand that and to work together and to stop really cooperating and just do whatever they want and then we can really just move forward with what we want to do.
So,
I'm
and
sorry.
I'll
Go ahead.
tell yeah. So going back, so yeah. So like I said, they pampered her. They had to take a photo with Donald Trump
Yeah,
and
I saw that. Yeah.
so like I said, political operatives like Lynn Patton knew this. They do this to a lot of people,
But
especially the
Nigel is
young.
incredibly corrupt, so
Yeah,
leaving
it's
it in their
corrupt.
hands also is not really an ideal
Yeah,
situation
yeah.
either. There's no
So
real winning here.
so all right. So yeah. So going back to that. So like I said, they do
Okay.
this with the young. They do it to young people too. They'll fly you out. They'll send you to like Arizona, like mainly on the Republican side, even the Democrats, they do the same thing. They fly the young people out and they'll have you mingle with the top people. They'll make you take a photo with the president, a photo out of the president. So you can brag, oh, I took a photo with Bill Clinton. I took a photo with Donald Trump. I took a photo with Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Now, that stuff is not for free. None of that stuff is free. You think they doing that shit because they fucking love you? No,
Kamala Harris is going after National Action Network soon.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
you think they give a fuck about you, like the people
No.
that's doing that. No,
I know better. Yeah.
they want
Absolutely not.
something in return. So they told her, say, hey, we you owe us this debt. So they had to do a video, like a virtual, because remember the 2020 election, 2020, the RNC election, RNC was virtual because of the pandemic. She did a video burying de Blasio, burying the shot de Blasio. Everybody in New York saw it and they got mad. A lot of the Democrats got mad at that. Like, how fucking, wait a minute, you're supposed to be working with us. How fucking dare you appear at RNC and burying de Blasio? So they got Perez. Perez was in the video too,
Right.
and they got her out. They told her that she had to resign from her president, from the club, her political club, for appearing in that video. And Perez felt burnt by both Quiones and Patton because she felt that Quiones misled her onto the situation. So she felt duped. So with Quiones, you know, she couldn't be trust. She just can't be trusted. I mean, it's just like her. You can tell what she's about, and that's not good. I mean,
So she makes.
she.
I think I'm think she makes intelligent political decisions. I've been actually. I was an inspector in public housing, and I've been through a lot of. I did some work in Douglas houses and other public housing projects near Douglas, and
Hmm.
I see that she she really built up her support in the community. So she has her supporters in there, and it would be hard to dislodge her. So she set
Yeah,
herself up in a way that she's very strong, and I gotta respect that. She still does decent work out there, and I
yeah,
understand the concerns. Look, she even says that she's working with Greg Russ in some ways, and the fact is that she was able to. Right, I understand the corruption concern, but I know also that she keeps the door open to all the parties, so she can really take any option she wants. So she has that freedom. So
hmm
I can't really blame her for that, and I think that she is actually, just like I said before, just playing the hand she was dealt. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so she doesn't bring me along for everything, and I get it too. But she's made some. She tried to help me out with some things, and I just tell you, man, I'm a fan. So
yeah.
I know that's problematic, and you shouldn't really be a fan of anybody. Is there some things reasons to be concerned? Definitely, and the people need to not make her into a hero figure. But she's politically very strong within her community, and she knew how to make the right moves. And she was a district leader before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why isn't she still a district leader? What happened?
I don't know. I don't really know why
It's
it's
hard
going
to
on.
dislodge district leaders.
No, it is. It's easy these days. It's easy to do it because it's like running for the state assembly. It's
Okay.
powerful. I mean, people try to downplay it, but it's powerful.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, it's very powerful, actually, right? They help determine judges and stuff like that. That's what actually happened to Guy Brewer. So that's
Hmm.
actually just having someone who has that experience and level of understanding of the system. People like
Hmm.
yourself, right? Extremely valuable, right? There's
Yeah.
not a lot of Christopher Leon Johnsons who know the back end of it, and that's why you really helped make this show so much better. I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's one of those people that knows the back room, like what's going on. You know what I mean? So you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So look, I'm glad that you're out there, though, holding people like her accountable and examining. Yeah,
Thank
that should happen as well. Absolutely.
you.
So Now the thing is that also, have you heard about what was his name? Michael Zimbluskis.
I heard of the guy. I just don't like him.
He was running as a Republican, but the thing is that Nadler, right, the one he was running against, right, actually supported the developers. So,
Hmm.
right, at least on policy, on paper, maybe he was lying. Who knows, right? Yeah, I've been betrayed many times, but he's openly supported public housing, things like that. So, he's been actually not. I wouldn't say he's a true Republican because he's run as an independent multiple times, and he's been like around that movement. So, um, he they were actually working together in some ways to try to address some things in public housing. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Anyway, this Carmen Quinones. So, I hope she watches this. We'll see. Yeah, she is actually an interesting figure. Yeah, and no one should be trusted. Yeah, in this game, trust yourself.
Hmm.
So I'm glad you brought that up, man. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so it would be good if we could get together and mobilize, right, public housing to vote as a unit. Unfortunately, I don't really. There's not a lot of. There's a lot of fiefdoms that are set up that are protecting their own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So public housing, I think, honestly, it's been frustrating trying to mobilize that community. They're really buying into a narrative that the media really sets up for them, and when they see actual actions happening on their behalf, they don't recognize it. And
Yeah.
that's something that I'm working on right now. I'm gonna check the chat to see if there's anybody in the chat. We have a couple people watching. I do see that. Okay. Officials People's Party Jim Engel's in the house, and so is Stephen Bishop Lee. Shout out, man. Yeah. All right. And other than that, you said this week maybe some things are coming up Tuesday. You said there's a big event. Maybe I'll roll out. Honestly, I've been burned out. Yeah. Dealing with
Yeah.
the Carmen Bellatrix situation and the follow up. Making that video was crazy. But anything else that you want to talk about? The politics stuff?
Mm, nothing else, brother. Really nothing else.
Okay. So just one more shout out for Salamander Brandy. New York City DSA is not helping out, even though she's the DSA Memphis co-chair. Want to shout out Stephen Lee and our work. We're trying to set up some examination of the Citizens Review Board of the police department, right? And we're going to say, why is there all organization and political appointees and not actual true civilians?
Hmm.
And we can bring some accountability in there. I'm not anti-cop, but I am anti-cop corruption. So all right. So other than that, really, I think that's basically good. Anybody in chat want to say anything? Oh, I have effects on my mic.
Nothing else.
Apparently, yeah. Yikes.
Nothing
Okay, I'll
else.
have to go back and fix that. Yeah. All right. So I guess that's a good show. All right. Thanks a lot,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah.
All right. See you next
care.
week. All right, folks. God bless.
Take it.
Okay. Stop streaming.
Yep.